For the last 4 months, a Sioux City man has waged a battle with an opponent that he can't see, a brain tumor. Mike Jones suffers from a rare and aggressive type of tumor that typically strikes children and young adults. But he's fought it every step of the way with his family right by his side. As the cotton falls from trees around his Sioux City home and thoughts turn to fall, Mike Jones's thoughts turn to the twists and turns his life has taken since that fateful day last spring.
That's when they had noticed that there was a mass.
A mass in Mike's brainstem, not the diagnosis the otherwise healthy 25-year-old expected when bouts of dizziness began in February.
As if you were getting on a roller coaster and you just couldn't get off.
Doctors thought it was vertigo until one morning when Mike woke up to find the right side of his face drooping.
So I texted my doctor. I showed him a picture of my face. And he gave me a call and he said, I requested that you go to St. Luke's and get an MRI done immediately. Like, hop in the car, go now.
The MRI revealed a mass in his brainstem.
That was the real first time that my heart completely dropped.
But no neurologist at St. Luke's would go there, so Mike was sent to Mercy One Siouxland Medical Center for another MRI.
And then they said, yep, there's definitely a mass there.
But Mercy One didn't have what Jones needed, and he was rushed to UNMC in Omaha, another hospital, and another brain scan.
That's when they told me that there was a 2 centimeter tumor inside of my brainstem. It had fused to my brainstem walls.
The tumor was inoperable.
And I remember the neurologist came in, and I think that was the second or third time I completely fell to the ground.
But Mike's mom, Sonora, refused to take no for an answer.
And we were driving home, and I had people in my life that were saying, you know, get to Mayo. They can do miracles at Mayo.
The Mayo Clinic in Rochester, Minnesota.
No appointment, no nothing. We went straight through the emergency room.
There, in the ER, Sonora found a doctor that wouldn't take no for an answer either.
And I just asked her to please help my son, that I didn't know what else to do. And she said, we'll help you.
Within days, they met with an oncologist, and they met with the surgeon who agreed to do what doctors in Omaha wouldn't, biopsy Mike's tumor.
Traditionally, 20 plus years ago, when I was in training for tumors in the brainstem, it was felt that they were just too high risk to operate on, even for a biopsy.
Neurosurgeon Dr. Ian Parney says times and medicine have changed.
Thankfully, the risk is not as high as it was once thought to be for doing a biopsy of something in the brainstem, but there's still risk.
The biopsy was successful. It revealed an aggressive diffuse midline glioma inside Mike's brainstem. It was still inoperable, so Mike turned to radiation oncologist Dr. William Breen.
The standard treatment for this type of tumor includes 6 weeks of radiation treatment. It's once a day treatment, 5 days a week for 6 weeks.
But Dr. Breen believed in an ongoing clinical trial which would shorten the brutal course of radiation.
And this approach uses a shorter course of treatment, just 2 weeks of radiation as the initial treatment, followed by observation until further radiation is needed.
By July, scans showed the treatment had worked. Mike's tumor had stabilized. And there's more hope on the horizon, like clinical trials.
And there's also other treatments, autoimmune therapy.
Rays of light during a dark time for a man with his whole life ahead of him.
You just gotta live your life as much as you can, because you just don't know when it's gonna turn around and when it's gonna flip upside down.
2 weeks ago, Mike Jones had another brain scan at Mayo, and those scans revealed his tumor has shrunk. He'll go back to Mayo in another 6 weeks for another scan. As you can imagine, the medical bills are mounting for Mike Jones and his family. If you'd like to help, we have several ways that you can pitch in. All of that information is inside this story at KTIV.com. Now, Jones's tumor, a diffuse midline glioma, or DMG, is a rare type of cancerous brain tumor. It's most common in children between the ages of 5 and 10 years old, although it can also affect adults. The American Brain Tumor Association says between 200 and 400 people, primarily children, are diagnosed with DMGs in the United States every year. According to the DMG Resource Network, there's no cure for DMG. Survival times, though, have nearly doubled since the discovery of the disease. You can read more about DMGs and find resources at our website, KTIV.com.